welcome to the week ahead using astrology and human design with a little bit of psychic hits and intuitive gifts. My name is Brenna. I'm a human design reader and a mentor, psychic intuitive of 9.5, almost 10 years, teaching you how to use this information in a practical way that best serves you. For each day of the week, I'm going to go over the do's and the don'ts for what you should do based on the energy of what the stars and the transits are telling us, and a little bit of what I am picking up on just when I kind of sit with my energy and do a little meditative channeling as I am writing my notes out for you guys, which I'll be referring to right here in my handy dandy notebook throughout the course of this video. So to get right into it on this very bright, beautiful Monday, it's going to feel a little bit heavy as we are going into the new moon in Libra that's actually happening, even though there's a lot of lightness that is coming with this new moon in Libra. And so for Monday, a couple of things that you do want to take notice of in the atmosphere right now is that a lot of people are going to be kind of keeping you on a time clock for reciprocity, not letting people make you feel like you have to rush to be at their aid or be by their side, and focus on where we're starting to pivot towards going into a little bit more of a hermit mode, an internal, reflective, introspective season of the year is going to be important. What's also been happening, or what is happening today, that I touched on a little bit in my energy of the day short, my reels, my TikToks, all of the above, is not letting yourself feel like you have to rush or fall forward through your day. Specifically, what I wrote to is that any kind of overwhelm will squash any type of intuitive senses that you're able to pick up on, specifically from this one a little bit of the afternoon here around like 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, where our moon is in gate 57 in the fifth line. So what happens throughout the transits every single day is that we're going through the motions of all of the different planets, because even though, wherever we're sitting right now in your corner of the world, we appear to be very still and calm and relaxed, and we are. But if there's always times where you feel like your mood is shifting throughout the day, we're hypersensitive to that when we finally come to a place of stillness and we're able to be a little bit more introspective. So whenever things start bubbling up when you're trying to relax, that's normal, but know that you can still find ways to check yourself before you wreck yourself and just get your emotions in order. Allowing people to help you, I also wrote down, is going to be really important. And it's a little bit of a trial and error process in finding the people that can help you, that aren't going to let you down and are going to be reciprocal in a good way. This comes from our new moon in Libra that's going to be conjunct the sun, as every new moon is. The moon and the sun are always going to be in the same sign when we have a new moon. Specifically for us, gate 50 in the third line, gate of values, or the gift of calling out what is unjust in the world. So there's many different ways that we can see that playing out on the world stage. Only so many things that I will say in a public platform. That's what I have my Patreon for, so we could talk a little bit more candidly in our own areas of the world. Spirit just kind of popping through here to know that we want to anchor in that. So if you guys want a space where we do talk about those things a little bit more deeply, you can join my Patreon too. We're going to be doing a new moon in Libra manifestation circle at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you could join the $5 a month tier or the $22 a month tier for your respective energy type if you'd like to. For Tuesday, October 21st, which is actually going to be the day of the new moon in Libra, I wrote, because it's being ruled by Venus, Libra is also in Venus, right? Or Venus is also in Libra right now with the new moon in the gate of depth. Asking yourself, this is a good time to journal on what makes you feel unsure or unsteady or out of your depth. Gate 48 can bring up feelings of inadequacy. That just teaches you, where are you looking, or what can you figure out that's a solution to make you feel steady in an area that you feel unsure or unsteady. Libra is always sensitive to that little minute balance in the atmosphere. And it was sweet because I just finished last of my wedding celebration. For those of you who have been with me for a while, I'll be doing a longer YouTube video about that in the not so distant future, because I did plan my wedding celebrations according to the astrology of my chart, the transit, so on and so forth. And the woman who did my hair was an Aquarius sun, Libra moon, and Libra rising. And so we were talking as I was in the chair, as I always do, about how, like, of course, a Libra being in the beauty industry 100%. And then how, as a Libra, or anytime we're in Libra season, just a little bit of too much weight on the improper side that causes a lack of imbalance is always finding that kind of stability. So the scales are always kind of gently moving, but there are periods in time where you're going to sense a little bit more of an equilibrium. So this is a point in time to be able to focus on that. Since Tuesday is also Mars Day, I wrote a couple things about gate 43, which I'll be talking about for Wednesday as well, the gift or the gate of insight in the second line. So, what thoughts make you unique? You may feel uniquely inspired today. How to be expressive, how to express yourself authentically. There is this habit with people with gate 43 in their chart to be a little bit tone deaf sometimes. They don't always mean what, like, they don't always mean well. There's people I've certainly met that have this placement that don't always mean well, but there's people who also don't mean to be malicious. I think that we can see that vein. It's almost like people who choose to ignore the signs because they have an agenda to push versus somebody who may be on the spectrum or ADHD that's just really excited about whatever they want to share and they share in that regard. So just using your discernment for who are the people that, actually have something with gate 43 that's like an authentic tone deafness, not a rude tone deafness where they know that they're like this, but they just don't care. And that's where we're going to have to start clocking the energy and teaching people, hey, that's not really the correct way to operate at this time under the influence of this placement, or if you have this placement in your human design body graph naturally. If you want to get a free copy of your birth chart to see what transits are going to be affecting you, any of the gates that I mentioned, you can get a copy of that. It's a free link in the show notes. So you can pause this video, do that, and then come back if you don't have it already. Don't forget who you are and what you do best when another person asks you to do something different. This is just another aspect of us looking at what we value. Does the thing that we're being asked to do reflect our values, or is it something that goes against our values? And is that something, that we don't really want to do? Like, is it something that falls within our benefit? So a little bit of those do's and don'ts. Wednesday, October 22nd, this is really important because we have Mercury, Mars, our Black Moon, Lilith, all in gate 43, having a little bit of a square with our Aquarius and Pluto in gate 60. This is a huge, huge, huge emphasis, even more so than Tuesday, on knowing when to restrain yourself. Now, I'm noticing that a lot where people don't understand the time and the place. And I'm sure many of you are on the receiving end of this as well, for people who are not understanding the time and the place to properly express their emotions, how they feel, having a good conversation with somebody that gets them the actual result of what their true intention is. Knowing the art of having a good communication, good dialogue, good argument, good debate with somebody, that is something that will take you so much farther. That Saturn is ruling Pluto in Aquarius, is going to help you with so much. It's like, what is my true intention is what I wrote for you guys to write down. Or else people are going to be like, that's nice, honey, be very dismissive and not really feel like you take what you have to say seriously because it's coming at them with a lot of vitriol and venom. Not to say that moments of passion aren't totally like necessary or totally valid right now. But if we are going to be playing a long game, or as I like to say, as a 5-time Scorpio placement, that like revenge is a dish best served cold, right? So it's like when you allow yourself to cool off a little bit, not to necessarily take revenge. I see it because I am a Pisces sun, right? So an Aquarius rising, so you can see my balances there. But really being able to say, okay, when I take a step back to cool off and I respond with what my intention of the outcome of this conversation is, that's going to be a really important piece for me to not get distracted, for me to not get thrown off kilter, and to know that I'm operating from a place of personal empowerment. So not letting other people get your head dragged or like drag your head around, and taking time to be reflective in your internal world, super important for today. Now, Thursday is Jupiter day, still in gate 62. Our Jupiter transits as a Cancer placement take a little bit longer because Jupiter is farther out in our solar system. The orbit around the sun and around us on Earth is a little bit longer. Once we're properly educated, then we can take action. This is the time to do as much research, especially for those of us that are in the winter months or have time where you're able to be a little bit more introverted. Sorry, my contacts in this corner of the world, really reading up on as much as you can, but know that details and a certain amount of information does need time. You need to put the book down, put the phone down, touch grass respectfully, right? Go. I always say lay on my pink velvet couch to my left side here and be able to integrate whatever the information is that you're picking up on. Sometimes one sentence for you and marinating on that one sentence that somebody said can be just as impactful as reading 4 textbooks about a subject that you want to learn about, because it's allowed you to marinate on what impact that one statement, that one detail has had on changing the course of your life, on changing the course of your business, of your, psychic practice, whatever that looks like. That's going to be really important to understand right now. It's a slow and steady wins the race type pace that is going to make people win and be successful. I'm not just saying that as a Saturn dominant person, but anything that you are making yourself, that you are taking your time to understand, it's not going to be taken away from you. Our earth placement in human design, I actually want to treat you. I have a link to this in the show notes below. It is an Amazon affiliate link. So do with that what you will if you want to support me in purchasing that. But I wanted to read to you about what the earth represents, because we have our earth placement in a detriment today, which is an Aries placement that's opposing all of Aries is opposite Libra on the zodiac. So it's sister signs, but there is a little bit of a bumping of the heads there. Our Chiron is there as well. But our earth sign specifically is our grounding. It's in the detriment today with the transit, right? So earth feeling a little ungrounded in the gate of order. There's literally no dust that's going past, by the way. So anytime you see an orb, shout out to our spirit guides that know we're channeling. I do a little meditation before this, right? So anytime you see that, you'll know. If you guys have seen any others that I don't call out or miss, let me know. But the earth represents where we're concretize or bring into form, and how we ground and balance the sun's energy within our forms, which are our bodies. The sun and the earth, which is what makes up your incarnation cross in human design. If you don't know what that is, let me know and I can help you. Always operate together and are located opposite each other on the Rave mandala. Those are all the gate placements, and how each gate placement I mention is a specific zodiac sign and degree within a 5-degree window. The earth provides the primary yin balance, or the archetype of the mother. We find conscious balance when we are able to integrate the personality correctly in our life, and we find our stability or unconscious balance when we come to grips with the world of form. That just gave me an idea for a future workshop for you guys, so keep an ear out for that. The earth is the backbone of our stability. I'm definitely doing some manifesting as we're talking right now too. So just kind of focusing, especially the earth is the backbone of our stability, having a naturally detrimented placement where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of instability in the world today. We want to lean into like, oh, what feels like it's causing a little bit of discomfort, and how can we create more order and control within ourselves? You want to look at your earth placements in your human design body graph to do that. So if you have any trouble locating that again, just let me know in the comments below. I can make a little video about that too. Now for Friday, Venus Day, we have Venus in Libra, as I mentioned a little bit ago, in gate 48, which is that gate of depth. Also, our Mercury in its detriment in gate 41 in the first line, which I also made a little note to myself to read to you guys from the back of the book about the specific detrimented placement. Specifically is known as the energy of money isn't everything. So the delusion that you can throw money at problems and that energy alone can never be the key. I love this because what it's teaching us is something that I've been like kind of screaming from the rooftops in my own sort of Piscean way for about a month or so now in my Energy of the Days and the videos that you watch here. And it's that teaching yourself to be resourceful with whatever you have, even if the only resource that you do have is your energy, is your spirit in some way, shape, or form, and using everything you have to the last of its ability. Like if you have, half a container of coffee that only has a scoop left, save the coffee, use that for something. Just being able to take stock of, whatever you have around you and being crafty, using that from a place of manifestation, Mercury ruling the throat, hiccup of affirmation, that's going to be important. I put pack and take care of the essentials. What do I actually need to have right now? What is necessary? I think especially because we've started this week today with a lot of people having issues getting into banking. The internet went down today. Friday is usually payday for a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are also furloughed right now or going through moments of career changes and crises. If that's ever an issue for somebody, I always do readings on that. So you can always let me know too. Those of you who are in Patreon, remember you get a complimentary reading from me. So like as somebody who's self-employed during this time and has always taken steps to prepare for moments like this, just we can help workshop that for you. So you have a plan of attack to be able to say, okay, I see this, but I know that I'm not going to see the light at the end of the tunnel as the head of an oncoming train, because I know how to navigate it, whether it is a train or not, right? I know that when hard times come, I'm able to feel prepared and feel empowered and doing what I can, taking care of my resources, whatever that looks like. So just paying attention to that today. I also wrote down the lack of there's a lack of ambition that people can have, but people, this is a time to shine and see how dedicated you are. Any business built now is the building block of your success. Moments where we are dealing with times that feel like the odds are stacked against us are truly such a resilience barrier. I'm somebody that studied art history. I'm an art historian by university degree and time in the saddle. And what has been true throughout history forever is that every single um, artwork or creativity that is celebrated for years to come comes out of moments of deep hardship where people were willing to persevere and believe that they deserved better than the circumstances that were stacked against them. And I really believe that my community of people that are here are people that fall into that category. So just knowing that's something that you have within you, that power of that resilience, and that you can still build no matter what, is really something that I speak over my people. So just if you feel like downtrodden or like the odds are stacked against you and there's any way that you need help, again, you know where to find me, but just know that now is the time more than ever to be willing to go after your goals, dreams, and aspirations, no matter what, in a sustainable way. What's also happening on Saturday or Saturn Day, gate 36 in human design or Saturn, it's also going to be opposing our South Node loosely in Virgo and gate 47 in human design. And so it's like crises being opposed by like thoughts. And so that's where and I always say I'm not, a psychologist, a therapist, anything along those lines, but I do see an uptick in mental illness, personally, professionally. I had someone comment on my video the other day about how they went to the hospital because something somebody said in the astrology community online had sent them into a spiral. And so knowing when you have your personal threshold for how much information you can receive in a time where people are trying to triage crisis is also important, to bring that into your self-awareness. And there's a quote that my dad always used to say to me growing up, which is Eleanor Roosevelt quote, and it was that nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. And so knowing when you have, again, your personal threshold, I also mentioned this for Thursday about how much you can take in with, especially gate 47 is our South Node. You want to pay attention to that. Also knowing that you have the ability to see, I wrote this down here, like, don't be the person who's always in crisis, because in the big age of 2025, we're all dealing with something. Everybody, and this was something that, like, especially for me as a Scorpio moon, that it can be deep in my emotions, right? And really like have them in my past circle down the drain. I've since educated myself and experienced a better octave of that, so to speak. But it's really paying attention to knowing that people have different abilities for how they're able to compartmentalize their life experiences. I certainly have, as many of you know, especially when I'm on lives. If you go into my archive here on the live tab, you'll see that there, where I talk about my personal experiences, especially at the end of my lives. And so I just know how to compartmentalize them well, because I don't want them to bleed over in the areas of my life that I know, like, I don't need to share them in this moment in time, right? These are my teaching videos for me to educate my people that want to listen, that want to do better, that want to be educated and use the energy to the best of their ability as a part of planning their week or their day. Okay. So knowing that is so important, because you also have to know that you deserve to be known for more than just your crises. You have a bigger purpose than just being known for the trauma or the things that have happened to you, and that you deserve to be able to step into that power. Now, there are steps to get there. I've certainly been in therapy for a while, or in my early 20s, to be able to get over some of the things, not even get over, alchemize, I'll say, the things that I've been through in my life, but I'm always going forward. There's a quote that's from Housewives too. It's just a funny offshoot, but it's that there's a reason that the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield, because there's only, you kind of look back and glance at it, but we're going forward. That's just something that I really feel like is important to pay attention to for Saturday, and to just know, even if you don't experience this personally, what's happening in the atmosphere if you're also somebody that's in a client serving, client facing position. Which brings me to Sunday, October 26th. We officially have a new Sun Gate transit where we're in the gate of the game player, gate 28, or the fear of running out of time. What can be happening? What you notice that people, especially larger on the world stage, people sacrificing their morals to potentially win. What does winning actually mean to you? You want to focus on that today. Like when you think about winning at life, what does that look like? Is that just creating peace in your home? Is that being able to just be self employed sustainably and that you don't need to be self employed and a millionaire? I see a lot of people not even realizing, and I can speak to that myself, like the true satisfaction that came from just being able to be self employed and being able to know that I can support myself doing what I love, even if I wasn't a multimillionaire, being able to do that. That groundedness is super, super, super important, especially now doing things sustainably because we are in such a societal overhaul that we still can be successful, but it's what is going to be sustainable success for our nervous system. I mentioned that for, I think it was October 17th or the 18th, the energy of the day, if you go back and watch that little video. And just really being able to lean into that, especially when it comes to Venus is shifting into gate 57 today, the gift of intuitive clarity. And I also wanted to read about the importance of our Uranus Gemini transit, also a little bit about gate 20, because it's about being very present in the now. If you're a generator or a manifesting generator, there's a good chance that you have this placement in your human design body graph, so looking out for that. So to quote this, gate 20, excuse me, is a purely existential gate that keeps you focused in the present and supports your capacities to survive as yourself. A lot of our survival instincts are kicking in right now. When your expression is properly timed, awareness will be transformed into words or actions that can impact people around you. It can give voice to Gate 57's intuitive survival awareness. Gate 20 expresses a full range of being in the moment from I am now to I know I am myself doing now, but it does not consider the past or the future. So, what's really interesting with that, and what I wanted to kind of highlight and leave you guys with, is I know I am myself doing now. So when we break that down, right, less is more. I know I am myself doing now. I know that as a physical vessel, me, that's Brenna, or, insert your appropriate name here, and I am where my feet are, right? My spirit is acting as Brenna in this point in time. Little bug. In that way, right, I can go ahead and say, what does Brenna and Brenna's spirit and Brenna's avatar supposed to be doing that is natural to what I feel is appropriate right now, with what my goals are, with what winning means to me, what a successful day looks like to me, that's going to make me feel satisfied at the end of the day as a manifesting generator, peaceful if I'm a manifester, surprised and delighted as a reflector, so on and so forth, right? Successful as a projector. Who did I leave out? Yeah, and satisfied as a generator too. So being able to just lean into that and say, okay, I know that I'm here for a purpose and a reason. It may not always be clear, but for today, for right now, what is the purpose and the reason, or the thing that I can do that's going to help me move that needle forward? Every time you do that, it is a vastly simplistic but vastly underrated simplistic thing that you can do to allow yourself to not feel that analysis paralysis and just take a micro action. If you have trouble taking action, I want you to count down 3, 2, 1, and then act and go. So much more helpful. Don't overcomplicate it. Take one day at a time. And as always, if you need any other assistance or have any other questions, you know where to find me in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay. I will see you guys who are in my Patreon over in Patreon. If you want to join us, there's no forever commitment. You can come and go as you please. You can join the $5 tier, the $22 tier, to be able to join any of my trainings that have to do with the new and the full moon. If you do the $22 tier, you get specific trainings and bonus videos based on your human design. So love to all of you guys. It's another good week to be in your own personal power. And I will see you next week for the transits of the week ahead. Talk to you soon.